They expand it. They're going to increase games next season. But I can't remember the last time I heard something positive about the WNBA. What's going to happen? Once the NFL start in 2 weeks, nobody's going to care about the WNBA.
Where in the hell have I heard that before? Where have I heard the prediction that the WNBA will soon be forgotten? Uncle Charles, have you been watching Uncle KC? Has the legendary professor been watching the handsome professor? All kidding aside, obviously, Charles Barkley, right. We are literally 2 weeks away from the WNBA fading into obscurity. This is one of the many reasons I do not understand the WNBA wanting to expand pretend basketball season. If anything, the season should be contracted. The WNBA playoffs, the chase for the golden toilet, the highly competitive tournament where teams are competing for the prestigious prize of the golden pooper. The chase officially begins September 27th. Just think about everything that is going on in late September going into early October. College football, the NFL. Can't forget about pee-wee football, high school football, or in my case, flag football with my daughter. For most parents and grandparents, the fall season is one of the busiest times of the year. Playoffs in Major League Baseball. By the time the WNBA finals begin in mid-October, the NBA is starting. Regular season in the NHL. At minimum, there are 6 items on this list competing with the WNBA. Now, where does the WNBA rank on your list? For most people, the WNBA doesn't even make the list. Go for a walk, say a little prayer, take a deep breath of that autumn air, turn the TV on, grab some snacks, watch my favorite NFL running back. Later that week, it's starting, the NBA's back on my TV. Pretend basketball players are pissed. The WNBA has no place on my list. Every summer after the NBA Finals, the hourglass officially turns over for the WNBA, and they are running on borrowed time. For about 10, maybe 12 weeks, this toxic turd has the undivided attention of the mainstream. While this summer has been great for exposure, it has not been great for interest in the actual WNBA product. If you don't believe me, go look at ratings for WNBA games not involving Caitlin Clark, if you can find them. To make matters worse, the WNBA is potentially about to make what I believe is a monumental mistake. Headline at Yahoo Sports: Sophie Cunningham's future in the WNBA could be in jeopardy. We are getting rid of homophobia. We are eliminating woke welfare for women who refuse to share a locker room with masculinity. Just to be clear, these are rumors. This is speculation, but it's speculation supported by circumstantial evidence. Even though she is loved and respected by normal people, Sophie Cunningham isn't exactly respected by some of her colleagues in the WNBA. From the league's perspective, I'm sure Sophie Cunningham is a nightmare. For the last 5 weeks, the WNBA has been at the center of a manufactured controversy. Of course, they are blaming Sophie Cunningham for manufacturing this controversy, when the truth is, the WNBA has no one to blame but themselves. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't remember Sophie Cunningham viciously attacking Inez Cantor the other night. I don't remember Sophie Cunningham permanently banning this bearded beauty from WNBA arenas. The only thing Sophie Cunningham did is make an innocent comment about protecting women's sports in an article where she was interviewed by ESPN. And the comment, it was made 6 months ago, even though the article was released last month. The rest of this flaming ass fire, it was spread by the emotional overreactions of WNBA players and the refusal of Kathy Engelbert to grab the extinguisher and put out the flaming ass fire. Those are the facts. But as you guys know, the WNBA never lets facts get in the way of their agenda. You gotta remember, this is a political league. This is not a basketball league. And if you've ever watched the WNBA product, then you know it's damn sure not a professional basketball league. The WNBA is not a democracy. Their ideology is rooted in communism. If you don't comply, you either leave voluntarily like Candace Wiggins, or you'll be banned like Inez Cantor. But either way, you're leaving. There is precedence in sports in getting rid of problematic players, and it mainly involves players whose production doesn't match the problems that they create off the field. Colin Kaepernick was unofficially banned from the NFL. Many believe the same thing happened with Tim Tebow. This doesn't just happen in sports, also happens in corporate America. At my old job, there was a salesman who took his territory from $0 up to $2 million in the span of about 2 years. When it came to process instrumentation, the dude was brilliant. I learned a lot from him, whether it was work or life. He was 25 years older than I was, and he taught me a lot about life. I was young at the time. I was in my late 20s, and he was kind of like my work dad or my work uncle. As good as we got along, we also fought a lot. But the problem was, he fought with everyone else too. He was one of those people where you had to know how to take him. If you didn't know him well, he could be very abrasive. One Friday afternoon, I get a phone call from him. He was coming off one of his best sales months with the company. So when he told me that he was fired, naturally, I didn't believe him. I thought he was joking. But the reason he was fired had nothing to do with performance and everything to do with perception. Once management perceives you as a problem, once you get the label of being difficult to work with, your reputation is essentially ruined. Unfortunately for Sophie Cunningham, she doesn't have the benefit of being a top earner like the salesman at my old job. Yes, Sophie Cunningham is extremely popular with normal people. Yes, she's one of the top jersey sellers in the WNBA. But this league doesn't care about money. They don't care about profit. This turd's been operating at a loss for 30 years. It's estimated that the WNBA has lost $300 million in their existence, and that is a conservative estimate. You think this league cares about top jersey sellers? You think they care about Sophie Cunningham being popular with normal people in America? How many times have I said it? The WNBA does not want your business. They don't perceive Sophie Cunningham as being a positive for the league. They perceive her as the ultimate negative. Right now, Sophie Cunningham is on a 1-year deal with the Indiana Clarks. Once their season ends, her contract expires. And there is speculation that she will not have interest from other teams. And the Indiana Clarks, they might have no interest in re-signing her. Now, in the WNBA's defense, and I'm only bringing this up to be fair, even though this toxic league does not deserve the benefit of the doubt, but in their defense, from their perception, Sophie Cunningham might not be worth the trouble. If the Indiana Clarks let her go, ratings would not be affected on television. As long as Caitlin Clark is on the court, her fan base will be watching. Sophie Cunningham is making $600,000 this season, which is the new average salary in the WNBA. She averages 8 points, 2 rebounds a game. Sophie Cunningham is a role player. Uncle Casey, how come you don't show compilations of Sophie like you do with my beautiful heavenly angel? You're constantly making fun of Angel Reese. You call her a role player. Why don't you do the same with Sophie Cunningham? For starters, Sophie Cunningham doesn't consistently miss wide open layups. And when she did a couple of weeks ago, I showed the clip. But the main reason I am easier on Sophie and harsh on Angel Reese, Sophie Cunningham is a role player who does not present herself as a star player. Angel Reese is a role player pretending to be a star player. You see the difference? You know, the common perception with Colin Kaepernick and Tim Tebow, they were kicked out of the NFL for their respective controversies. They were kicked out of the league for being polarizing figures. And that's partially true. Yes, Colin Kaepernick was banned from the NFL for kneeling for the national anthem. But if Colin Kaepernick was a Pro Bowl quarterback, if he was competing for the playoffs, if he was competing for Super Bowls every year, you think the 49ers are letting him go? If they did, you think another team isn't signing him immediately? Colin Kaepernick was kicked out of the league because of the combination of kneeling for the national anthem and his play on the field being the drizzling shits. Tim Tebow could not get a job in the NFL because he just wasn't that good. From the WNBA's perspective, Sophie Cunningham brings unwanted attention to the league. Even though she's trying to protect the WNBA from being invaded by bearded beauties, WNBA players clearly do not want her protection. And her production on the court is not enough for the problems that she causes off the court. Now, whether or not she's unofficially banned from the league this offseason, that remains to be seen. But as a role player, you cannot be a problem player. Obviously, normal people don't think Sophie Cunningham is a problem player, but we're not the ones signing the checks. You can't be a role player and be a problem. And from the WNBA's perspective, that is exactly what Sophie Cunningham is. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.